For more than 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter in our community. From our studios in St. Clair, you're watching Focus with Paul Dingeman.
Well, welcome into December. We're glad you're here. It's been a little cold, but we got some things that are really going to warm your heart. Got two representatives from the Marine City Civic Women's League, Miss Pat Davis, who is the Presidente, and one of the acting fascinating members, Linda Baker.
Hi.
Nice to see you both. I stumbled through here. But it was so cold out.
It is.
27 years you've been doing a home tour
Yes.
at Christmas time.
Yes.
And that's a challenge in itself. Number one, finding houses every year. And number two, fighting the weather and conditions. But you guys have been successful. Talk to me why.
I believe the devotion and what has happened for the devotion of the members and not wanting to give up. Like this year we had two homes that had to at the last minute cancel out due to illnesses.
Okay.
And so
And that happens.
It does, but a month before we're going to be doing this, so we had to make a choice. Do we continue or do we have to let a year go? The only year we did not do it was COVID in 2020. And then in 2021, because of COVID, we did do a tour. In those 2 years, in 1920, we hired someone that came in and the members used their homes for the tour.
Okay.
And so we went to each home, it was filmed and we put it on, it was professionally done, it was beautiful. And it went over so well and we got donations through Venmo and people sending us money in. So we did raise $1,000 that year just by doing it on Facebook. So then the second year, because 2021, people were still not comfortable going into homes, and the homeowners didn't want people coming through their home.
Right.
So we played it again, and we just what we have found out is we've created a tradition that we average 225 to 250 people every year that we might see them once a year, and they're coming through on the home tour. And we did not want to disappoint them. How many start saying, when's the home tour? Where are we going? So this year, even though we did have two participants have to cancel out, Linda came through with helping us with the Red Brick Schoolhouse and Museum, and she's going to talk about that. And then we had another member that stepped forward, and we were very grateful. So we do have, for next year, we've already got lined up 3 homes. And so we're going to have that solidified by June so that we don't have to go through this again.
One of the questions that's come to me is, it's winter, and if it's snowing outside, how do I get into somebody's home?
Well, and that's an excellent question because you hit two of probably our most challenging points in having this. One is having people donate. And I do want anybody that's listening, if you do have a home that you would like to see on the home tour, please contact us. We'll be giving names and numbers on flyers and so on. Contact us and let us know because there are some people that put a lot of time and dedication and they want to share. They want to share that spirit of the holiday. And the second thing is weather-wise, so just one time in the last probably 10 years, we did have a blizzard, and God bless those homeowners. The men came and they constantly were going out and just clearing the walk and shoveling the walk. So we had a safety issue.
See, there are some good men in the world.
There are, bless their soul. Yes. So, and that's what they do. We just constantly keep the pathways clear. So
do I have to take my shoes off?
That's a good question. Thank you. Yes, in respect to the homeowner. And we'll have some that'll say, oh, no, they don't have to. But we ask them, if you don't mind, all the homes, because all it takes is somebody going to one home, they did it, and then they're going to go to the next home that person has. So we do supply booties.
Oh, okay.
But a lot of our seasoned people, what they do is they bring a bag, they put their shoes in the bag, and they wear slippers.
Okay.
And so if you don't have slippers, we do supply booties.
Okay. All right, let's get to the important details. Saturday, December 13th, from 5 until 8.
Yes.
It's a good time of the evening. Nice to get home early, get home and get started early and get home early. And you've got 6 locations. Tickets are available at MC Marine City's Sweet Tooth, Vera Grace, Riviera, Marine City Marketplace, Coghlan Jewelers in St. Clair, Parkside Printing in Port Huron, and the Marine City Museum. Okay, we got that out of the way. And tickets are $20 each.
Correct.
Okay, let's get to the fun part now.
All right.
Let's start with the wood home. Talk
Okay.
to me about the wood home.
Well, the wood home was built back in around 1880, and it was built by the Sadler family. And when the current owners came into town, she happened to go to a local party store, and the woman said, "Oh, you're moving here from East Detroit, and what house did you buy?" And she told her, and she said, "Oh my gosh, that's the old Sadler home." So people from Marine City are going to know it as that. And it actually stayed in ownership with a Sadler member throughout all these years. And then Margie Schreiner Smith, who is very active in town, especially at the museum, she found out the house was for sale, and she wanted to look into it, but it sold. It just sold
went
right
that
away.
quick.
And so she did call the current owner, Lorraine Wood, and told her, "If you ever want to sell, let me know." Because
Wow.
Margie did live there for a while, and then they built a home on Urban Drive, but she said she'd like to go back to the family home. So in touring that home, they truly exemplify the spirit of the season. In going into the house, it's like stepping back into the 50 when I was a kid, back into the 50s, and reminiscent of all the hardwood, and so many new homes they just don't have that like they did.
That romance, that
Yes.
warmth.
Romance, coziness that
Yeah.
you get in that older home. The decorating is all quite appropriate to a few years back. They have updated, but they've tried to keep within that warmth of a cozy home built into the 1800s. It's interesting, and Lucy Schreiner Smith, Lucy Schreiner, she was a Sadler, and her two brothers, Father Sadler,
Father Al.
and then Bernie Sadler. Bernie was well known in town because he was quite an artist. And when the Woods bought this home, they said, "Would you folks like to come?" So the three of them showed up because that's where they were born and raised.
Oh, wonderful.
And just had a delightful time. And Lucy, when she asked the three of them, the two gentlemen said, "Well, no, that's okay." They didn't want to impose. Lucy said, "Oh yeah, I want to go." So the two fellows said, "Well, if you're going, so are we." So it is a beautiful trek through time, and she's going to have it decorated just beautiful for the holidays.
And the next one, how do you pronounce that?
Yelenich.
Yelenich.
Yelenich Roy Home. They're from, they've moved into town. They've been here approximately, I think, just a few years now. And the home is a post-war home, post-World War II home. And to me, it truly exemplifies what the neighborhoods were like when the fellows were coming home from the service. All the homes that, the cuddly bungalows they were building to start their families. And the homeowner, she's just very excited that she loves to decorate. We went past her house at Halloween, and it just stood out, on the whole block, where they decorate inside and out for Christmas. And she is going to have 3 floors available.
Wow.
Because when she decorates, she really likes to decorate. So she's very anxious to have people come into her home and share the excitement she has for the holidays.
All right. So now we're going to move along to Linda Baker, I think, to the Red Brick House.
Red Brick Schoolhouse.
Schoolhouse.
Yes, sir. On Meisner Road.
Yep.
And it's just a delightful piece of history in our local vicinity. And it was built in the mid-1800s. And brick, as you can see, on the original spot. So originally, if you look at the picture, it was just the main door and the 2 windows on either side. The little part where the quilt is now was added later, and then even later on, the end was added on. So at the end where the ramp is, yes. Yep. So originally, one-room schoolhouses did not have any electricity, so they would build them so that they would face the south. So the east side, the sun would come up and the natural light would come in.
Yeah.
And they would be able to use that way. Then in the 1954, all the schools were consolidated and they moved down the road on Meisner Road to the East China Elementary School, which was built.
Yeah.
And they closed all the one-room schoolhouses that were in the area.
Yeah.
All the children went there. After that, the school was empty, so the school district used it for maintenance to store paints and lawnmowers and that kind of
Stuff.
Stuff, yeah. It was kind of sad.
Yeah.
So the East China Township Commission adopted it, took it under their wing, and they have totally funded they brought it back to what it was like, and they've done a wonderful job. They researched the paint from Greenfield Village to get authentic. They didn't have all the authentic desks, so Mr. Nichols built all the desks. They would have originally been smaller for the 4 and 5-year-olds, and then all the way up to the 18-year-olds that all would have been in the school together. But they built them all the same size, mainly so that at the time, East China and school district and other school districts, 4th grade was studying Michigan history. So 4th grade would fit into these as would adults.
Okay.
So that's why they're all the same size.
Okay.
So the paint is authentic colors. The stove, I'm not sure if the wood burning stove is authentic or not, but it would have been more in the middle of the school, where the children that were around it
Were warmer.
were hot, and the ones on the outside were colder. So it was, the best they could do. It used to have an outhouse in the back, which is not there anymore, a double holer. And so when you go into the front door, it does have girls go to the left and boys go to the right, so they have their own coat closets. So visitors will get to experience that. You'll have your ticket stamped by one of our members, and then my husband and I will be back in the corner there where the clock is, and we'll be playing fiddle music and my dulcimer, which I brought.
Well, let's talk about your dulcimer. That's a beautiful instrument. Beautiful instrument.
Yeah, this is called a mountain or a lap dulcimer, and it just has a nice quiet sound. And
well, up here in the neck, what is this for? Is this
that's a tuner. A tuner, so that it tunes the strings up, and because the weather affects the sound of the wood, just like any wooden instruments, you need to tune up.
So it turns the knobs?
It does, just like a guitar head.
Oh,
yes,
wow,
yeah.
wow.
So
And you've had this for a number of years?
many, yes. And this is my travel size. It's a little bit smaller than the other ones. The other one is maybe like all the way over to Pat, so it's a little bit longer.
In addition to the tour, they're going to get some entertainment.
Yes, they will. Yes, not a concert. It's just background music. So they're welcome to sit in the desk and watch if they want. Yeah.
If Sully will go back one picture, I love the story of this, and I captured these from your Facebook page about the apple. Go back one more, Sully. This one here.
Oh.
Teachers were paid poorly during the 16th and 18th centuries, and parents would supplement their salaries with the food and necessities. Since apples were a very common crop, teachers would often be given a basket of apples. As wages increased, the quality of the was toned down to a single apple. And so that's where that came from. I never knew that.
Yes.
That's a great little story. And this is one of the original desks, right?
Yes, and I'm not sure if it's from that school, but we had a collection of different kinds of desks from different eras and different sizes, and it's very interesting. Yes.
Okay, very good. Well, that's number 3. Then I think we go to the Heather House, I think, next, right?
Okay.
Is that right? There we go. Okay, go ahead. We're on the Heather House now.
Well, the Heather House last year was sold, and it was bought by a couple, and Mallory and John, a delightful young couple. Mallory has a saying, John makes the breakfast and I make the beds. So they have a good relationship with it. Anybody that stays at the Heather House, automatically breakfast is included every morning that you're there. It was built back originally in 1885 by the Captain William Sauber family. And we still, in fact, one of our best friends in our family is original Sauber. Oh. And so she would have stories that she would tell me about her dad. And a few of the things that I found interesting is when he was little, he remembers how they would, first of all, Mr. Sauber being a captain would be gone, you know.
Right.
They would leave February, March, and they would sail and get home hopefully for Christmas, sometimes just after. So her dad was telling her how when they were little and all the people would come and visit, And they remember sneaking up to the attic area, and they had a ball room there, and they danced. And he said we'd sneak under, you could see through the crack of the door, all these feet, would go dancing past them. And then one of the parents would open the door, and the kids would scream and run down the steps. So that was one of his favorite memories. And then one of the parlor that's off to there's a living room area when you first go in, and then there's a parlor. And he was saying how if anybody passed away back then at that time, they would have them in the parlor. And that's why it had the separate door to go on the porch to go in and out. So those are two
a huge house.
Yes. And what's so unique about it, they do have 6 rooms that they rent out. And what I love about it is there is a brass plaque above each room, and they have a name to it. So each room has a theme. One is like the St. Clair room, and one, just different names. And then, and the decorating in there is totally vintage, going right back to the period. So it truly is a step back in time. The fireplaces, a few of them still work.
Keep going.
Okay.
I'm talking to him.
Okay, a few of them still work. And, as you can see here, there we are for breakfast with a beautiful serving.
Pretty fancy breakfast.
Isn't that lovely?
Yeah.
Through the years, approximately in the 60s, the house was sold and it was made into an apartment building. And when I got married, we came back, we lived overseas, and I came back, and we almost got an apartment there, and how I wish that we would have. That would have been so exciting,
Yeah.
but unfortunately we went to a different one. And so it was made into apartments, but then Heather and Bill Brockram bought it, and then they converted it and named it into the Heather House. And that's when they went through the remodeling of the rooms and made it into the B&B that it is. So going through the rooms, it's truly a step back in nostalgia. A lot of people will go and they want to go through it because they've driven by that house so many times that it's one of the queen of the homes. And this gives them a wonderful opportunity to see it. They'll enter in the front door, they'll go through, they'll go upstairs, they'll explore. We aren't going to have them go into the attic, but then they'll come on down through the back door, and they'll probably, I'm sure if they have the beautiful breakfast that they have, they're going to have some interesting treats for them, in the
Wonderful.
kitchen area where they'll be exiting.
The next one is an Airbnb. It's called the Harbor House, and it's right on the water. There's an aerial view of the property, and it looks like it's near downtown.
Yes, the Airbnb.
Oh, and there's the beach.
Yep.
It's right next door to
There's the gazebo.
the gazebo.
Yep, and the Airbnb.
So just south of the gazebo.
That's correct. And right at the end of Broadway as it turns, right
Yep.
there, Water Street and Broadway connect. And looking at the home, we were excited to go in there again. It's one of the treasures in town. This is the view that they have. Here's the pit, the fire pit that they can sit out by the water and enjoy the water. As an Airbnb, it's simply a matter of finding it's available.
Yeah.
And somebody had asked, well, why are you folks doing Airbnbs? And I'd like to take this opportunity to explain it. All of our wonderful churches in town through the years have participated, and we would always have a church at the end. Well, then we found, because the people attend or have gone through all the churches, that the members of the church would be so excited they were on tour and they'd prepare these baked goods, but then they didn't get the crowd of people they were anticipating. So we didn't want to disappoint them, so we thought we're going to do just a little diversion for a couple of years. And so these Airbnbs in Marine City were showing up. So we decided that we were going to go there, not as an advertising tool for them. However, how many of us in town have people that come from out of town?
Totally correct.
Yes, and it's like, well, where can they go? And they don't know.
Right.
So we thought, well, we'll include an Airbnb. And in fact, one of them stepped in for us to help us when we had the late cancellation. So as an Airbnb, you can see this is just walking through the house here.
A happy place.
Yep, and it's every room except one bedroom has a view of the river. So it truly is a beautiful spot if you have family coming into town that you'd like to house them. And we have several in Marine City, but this gives them an opportunity to see the
Wonderful.
one that we have there.
And the final place is the Marine City Museum, which has been around for a while, but people tend to forget that it's there. And this is some pictures we borrowed from their Facebook page, but it's full of history. It's really packed.
Well, you know what I worked for the Independent Press. I've done in newspaper for 35 years now, and that was my first job, was working for the Independent Press. And going there, all of the papers are bound.
Oh,
and
wow.
so you can go back there, and there's a history of pages. And when I remember when I got engaged, I married a Davis from Algonac, and I said, well, they must have been short on news that year, that week, because you opened the paper and there was a big picture with my picture on it because it was an engagement picture. So that was the fun of living in a small town.
Yes, yes.
But I've taken my grandchildren there, and to go back to papers, pre when we were in school, just, all the way back from the beginning. They have all our papers. They have artifacts. We have so many sailors, and people have taken and donated in memory of the sailor in their family and given to the museum. So the nautical section is
Beautiful
tremendous.
stuff.
And it's just, it's probably the homiest, closest place that you can feel to being a Marine City resident, because it's all there.
Yeah.
From high school pictures of your grandparents that went to school, it's just a great place. And during that evening, you wouldn't have the opportunity to look detailed, but it's a wonderful scope on what is there and to join.
Well, it's called the Holiday Home Tour, and it's on Saturday, December the 13th. These are the tickets, and they're available, as I said, at Marine City Sweet Tooth and Vera Grace, Rivera Restaurant, Marine City Marketplace, Coghlan Jewelers in St. Clair, Parkside Printing in Port Huron, and the museum itself. And they're only $20, and it's really a worthwhile, as it has been for 27 years, is a worthwhile investment and a worthwhile tour.
Can I add just one point?
You can
to
add
that?
3 or 4.
Thank you. I will give you 2 then. But I just want to clarify where our money goes and why this is such a good opportunity. Our biggest goal that we have is to maintain Riverside Park, the park with the blue arch downtown. It's the one, we call it the heart of Marine City. Everybody that comes to town goes there. They go to the restaurants, and then historically they have an opportunity. They go to Sweet Tooth, they get an ice cream cone, they go downtown, and they sit and they watch the freighters as they go by. So we have provided seating. We have had people in the community that when we had COVID and we weren't going to be able to do our normal fundraising, we put it out there to a few members in our group that had passed away, and their families graciously supplied the money for us to buy the park benches.
Oh, wonderful.
And we've had them arranged downtown, and purposely we arranged them. There's 3 rows on one side where no obstruction of view, and you can look out. And I think the biggest accomplishment we've had there, besides the benches and giving seating in the shade on a hot summer day, is we just rejuvenated the berm that's at the southeast corner of it. And that berm, just to give you an idea, it cost us just under $8,000 to do it. And that money, and like I told the people at the wine tasting event, that it's your money that you have contributed through our fundraising, that this is your berm. We were able to do this through the generosity of other people who support us. So we have some long-term goals to update the park itself. There's some structure that it was originally built over 40 years ago, so some of the wood is beginning to decay.
Yeah.
And so just
Normal stuff.
and to refurbish, and that's where the money goes for this fundraising. We also contribute a scholarship to the Marine City Scholarship Fund, and we have a variety of charities that we donate to, besides the Old Newsboys and Helping Hands. Those are our 2 main ones that we do. And we just contributed this year to the Christmas House, which is a lovely organization started in St. Clair. It was Dr. Hanrahan's wife that started it. And she actually has the, not the Gearing School, what's the one in town in St. Clair? Eddie, thank you. Eddie Elementary. She has classrooms, and it's like a store. She buys
Eddie,
all year.
the Eddie Center, they call it now.
Yep. And so that's where she gets all of this merchandise. So that was one of our new charities that we
Good.
donated
Yeah,
to
she
this
does
year.
good work.
Yep. So that's where that goes.
Well, we said, yes, Linda.
I want to point out, when you come to the Red Brick School, there's limited parking, so you can park across the street in the neighborhood street right there, not on Meisner, because that's a main throughway. Also, when you come in, you've seen all the nice decorations that all these houses have. When you come to the Red Brick School, it's very simple. We have decorated it so it's authentic.
Good. Good.
No plastic. We have dried apples, dried oranges, things
Just like it should be.
Paper was very scarce back then, so they used sheet music and magazines, so we have done that. So when they come in and they say, where's the red and green? This is why.
Just on YouTube.
Yes, exactly. And the other thing is, the building is so charming. It's available. We've had field trips from schools. We've had adults come for their meetings, just they want to be at a different venue. We've also had weddings, very charming weddings. So it is available. People can rent it. They just need to go to the township hall and fill out the forms. It's very inexpensive.
CTV used it one time with the East China School District during a bond issue
Oh, yes.
fundraising thing. We had the superintendent at the time was sitting in one of the chairs, and we did a
Yes.
historical thing, a piece about. So it's a really nice building.
Did anybody sit in the dunce chair?
I don't think so. No, that was a superintendent, so they wouldn't have sat in the dunce chair. Ladies, thanks for coming in. Remind everybody it's Saturday, December 13th. Tickets are available, $20. Make sure you go. It's well worth it, and it's a lot of fun.
Yeah,
Thank
it
you.
is.
Thank you, Paul.
Thank you very much. We'll be back with our next guest in just a second. And we are back, and we're back with a great representative of the St. Clair County Community Mental Health, Kristen Thompson. Welcome back to the Focus Show.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You are here to tell us about a stressful time in our lives,
The holiday
which
season.
is the holiday season.
Yes, it can be pretty stressful for people. So I am here to talk about some tips to try to bring the stress down, try to maximize the enjoyment for the holiday season. So.
And we want to see all our relatives and we want to see all our friends, but sometimes it just doesn't mix.
It doesn't. And I mean, that is tip number one, is be realistic. That
Okay.
we all want to create the perfect holiday and find the perfect gift for the right price and make everyone happy. And that's a really high bar to set. So
A Hallmark Christmas.
Yes, we watch too many Hallmark movies. So
Right.
let's get it back to reality. Feeling the pressure of what perfect is, and maybe we need to set it more to what's realistic and focusing on the experiences with your family, the connection with others, rather than having the perfect tree, the perfect decorations, the perfect gift.
Okay.
Some other things are going into gifts is sticking to the budget. That we know that money is tight right now.
Yes.
Things are more expensive than ever. And being at peace with maybe I can't afford that gift. And it's really from the heart is what matters. It's not that perfect, very high-end gift that might bust our budget for the rest of the year.
Right.
So, helping your stress with that is bringing that bar down. The third tip is some mindful scheduling. That I don't know, I think anybody that's got kids, that you can be going from sunrise to sunset with activities. And so being comfortable with saying no sometimes, prioritizing the activities that you want to hit the most, rather than just going until you
Well,
run
there's
out of
so
batteries.
many things that are offered and so many things
So
that
many
are
things.
available
So many
that
things.
all sound good.
Absolutely. And they sound good when they put it in your calendar, but maybe that day rolls around and you think, I'm exhausted. I don't feel that well.
Right.
It's okay to say no.
Okay.
I think the most
That
important... Oh, go
I'll
ahead.
stop you there. That was one of the most difficult words I had to learn
Oh, yes.
in my life is the word no.
I think a lot of people have that trouble. Right? We want to be helpful.
Took me a long time.
We want to be a team player.
Yeah.
Right. And you feel guilty if you say no. But it's okay.
Yeah.
It's important for you. I think an important one is that we all are excited about the holiday season, but that comes with a lot of grief that we don't spend a lot of time acknowledging. The holiday season is maybe it's your first Christmas without a loved one,
Right.
or, and that grief sneaks up on people. So taking that time to acknowledge that there could be mixed emotions at the holiday season, and that's okay too.
And it's important if we know someone that is going through that we reach out and try and
Yes.
share some time with them.
And that might
Maybe
be
a
the
coffee,
person to
maybe
prioritize, yeah.
Maybe a dessert, something along
For
those
sure.
lines.
When those help for, the
think
little,
about
the tray of cookies, like
Yeah.
that could mean a lot to somebody that
Yeah.
is maybe spending some more time alone this year.
Okay. Next.
And then the last and final one I have is your physical health. So the food isn't really great, that tastes delicious, but it's maybe not so great for our bodies. So keeping your routine going, trying to keep your health intact is an important time through the holidays. So those are some tips that we're hoping that will help you. And if you're feeling stressed out, ask for help. Talk to your loved ones. Talk to your friends and family. And if you felt like you need some professional help, that's where we come in. And so you can always outreach to us at CMH as well.
Okay. Now, every year at this time of year, you start a creative arts contest.
We do.
Let's talk about that.
This is exciting for us. We have great participation, and so every year we send this out to all the schools about our creative arts contest. This year's theme is Stronger Together, You Are Not Alone. So we have 3 different contests going on. So there's the elementary level, and that's the bookmark contest.
Okay.
And that theme this year is Kindness Connects Us.
All
And so
right.
that's for K through 5. And then for middle school, we have a poetry contest, and that theme is Compassion is Courage. And then the high school art contest is Inclusion, Empathy, and Strength is this year's. And we just have some of the best participants year after year. It's wonderful. So for the high school, any medium of art except digital work is accepted. And our Best in Show is used on our billboard campaign every year.
Yeah, it's always nice to see that come
It
out
is.
after the contest is over, and all of a sudden that winning
Yeah.
art piece is on a billboard
And the kid
throughout
that
the
gets
county.
it is so excited. We always have these pictures of the kids standing in front of the billboards,
Yeah.
and it's just, and we're always so impressed with the art that's submitted. So some things I want to put out there is that it's already been sent to every school in St. Clair County, and you can also download the information on our website, which is SCCCMH.org, and the deadline's January 16th.
Okay, 16th.
16th,
Okay.
yep.
All right. An important topic in today's world is words.
Yeah.
And there's so much stuff on the radio and the TVs
There's so much
and
stuff.
social
Yeah.
media and everything. Talk to
Right.
me about words.
So they matter, and I think sometimes we like to downplay our responsibility in how we treat others, but words shape attitudes, they influence how we perceive people, and they influence our connections with others. A perfect example of this are derogatory terms that can be used. And in the mental health world, for example, a very outdated term is the term retarded.
Yes.
That is not a term we use anymore. We use intellectual disability or developmental disability. That community has asked us to do that, and we gladly take the challenge. And so that's a word that we would just like to share is not a word that we really use anymore. It's outdated, it's antiquated. We ask people to be role models and lead by example. So coaches, teachers, church leaders, use the words that are kind to people. We don't use the word, for example, schizophrenic, that we would use that Kristen is someone who has schizophrenia. And so, putting the person first, it really is a little thing our agency has focused on over the past 10 years or so, just shifting that
It
language.
makes a difference.
It's made a huge difference in our culture, how we view people, how people feel when they walk in our door. And so we just like to share that with everybody, how important that is.
Okay.
Some steps you can use towards inclusive language. We've talked about it's individual with a disability, not the wheelchair user.
Right.
It's Kristen who's in
It's
a
the way
wheelchair.
you say it,
Yep.
the emphasis.
The emphasis, that's just one characteristic of, maybe the person uses a wheelchair, or maybe the person has a medical condition or a mental health condition, but that's not who they are. That's just one little piece of who describes them. And the culture of respect, I think, and that's something that I think you touched on earlier, that seems to be a challenge in the world right now. And so just respecting one another. We don't have to agree with one another, but being calm in our interactions with each other and encouraging each other goes a really long way. So one thing we wanted to add is that we have multiple toolkits online about education and outreach. And so if you're a teacher or a coach or a church leader that wanted to learn more about that, we have all the information online that you could print off and take a look at.
Speaking of online
Yeah.
and numbers, you've got a ton of new numbers.
We have a big new number. We're really excited about our new number. We acknowledge that previously to get into our services was clunky, and we've been able to streamline that. So now you call us and you're talking to us, not the kind of the middleman that was before us. And so our new number to access services is 810-488-8888.
Wonderful number.
Yep, and that calls right into our agency. You get directly into services, and it's we've been getting great feedback from people that have used that number about how well it's gone. So please use that number if you want to access our services. We'd also like to add that our mobile crisis unit and crisis support line remain active 24/7. Christmas, New Year's, all those days we will have support available. And those are local staff that are manning those lines, and that number is 810-966-2575.
Okay. Well, I think we've covered it.
I think we've covered a lot in a short time.
988, this is now a new national number,
That's the 911 for mental health. And so you call that 988 line, that is our national line, and they will talk to you and give you lots of assistance. They will also link you to resources, and often we're one of those resources.
Okay, very good. Well, Kristen, Merry Christmas
Same
and
to you.
Happy New Year to you, and
Thanks.
thanks for coming in and sharing all this important information. It's a stressful time for people,
It
and
can
they
be.
need to just calm down.
There's resources. Help us out there. Don't be afraid to use it.
Good.
Thank you so much.
That's about it for this edition of the Focus program. Thanks very much for tuning in. Till next time, I'm Paul Dingeman. See you soon.
Thanks for watching Focus with Paul Dingeman. Focus is produced at the CTV Community Television Studios in St. Clair. For over 20 years, CTV has captured the moments that matter to our community.